Where should wall sound absorbers be mounted for optimal performance? I'm going to give you some guidelines here, some rule of thumb on how you should think when you're designing a room and where you should put the wall absorbers for best possible function. So first, let's do a little sketch of a shoebox shaped room. Well, that's a bit... Let's see if my perspective skills are up to speed. Yeah, so here's your room. Now, the first thing you need to do when you're treating a room acoustically is to consider the ceiling, because this is the most important area where you can get a very effective sound absorber, and also square meters. You need some area. So let's say you already dealt with the ceiling and you put a highly efficient sound class A sound absorber in the ceiling. So this one is basically like a clear blue sky above you. All sound that is going upwards will be absorbed in the ceiling, and it's not coming back down. Now, if you're gonna put wall absorbers in this room, let's say it's quite a big room, it's a large one with a high ceiling height, and then you got someone in here. Where should you place these absorbers for maximum function? And how much of them do you need? Should we cover all these whole walls? Yeah, of course, that'll be like a padded cell, and it's gonna work perfectly with the acoustics, but it's also kind of a waste of money, because basically what you should consider is the seated and standing air height, which is kind of like this zone in the rooms. That's important. And usually you could say that this is like 0.8 to 2 meters above floor. If you have sound absorbers in this area, then what happens is that if you have sound in an untreated room, it can bounce like this, back and forth. It's undamped parallel surfaces, and also in this direction it's gonna keep going like that. But when you put the sound absorption in this zone, you're gonna cancel this reflection in both directions, so the horizontal plane is taken care of. Now, what's gonna happen if you increase the absorption on the walls to also cover this area up here and up here? Well, you could think about it like some kind of ray tracing with the sound. If it's like sound rays coming out from the source. If the sound goes up here, it's gonna be reflected in the wall here, and then it goes to the ceiling, and it's absorbed up here. So basically, this sound ain't coming back to you. Even if this surface is undamped, it's still gonna go up to the ceiling. So if the only thing that's gonna happen is if you increase the wall absorption area, so you have the whole wall like this, is that you're gonna absorb the sound here instead. But if there are no ears in this height, then there's no point to waste money on installing overkill sound absorption up there. So first, go for the roof. That's priority number. Roof, the ceiling. It's so easy to mix this up when you're Swedish, I think. First, do something about the ceiling, and then second, you consider the walls. Because it's difficult to compensate for a bad ceiling with wall absorption, because this isn't that many square meters. Because you got doors and you got windows and you got other stuff that's gonna mess it up. Whereas the ceiling is that's the place in the room where you can actually have some square meters that are good acoustically. And you should also consider this, then if you have a room, always avoid parallel undamped surfaces. So you don't want to allow sound bouncing like this back and forth. This is the top-down view. Oops, one too much. So if you put sound absorbers here and here, you will kill both these reflections. if you do this, you will only kill this one, but this one will keep going. And maybe it's going to become even more pronounced because you can hear it more clearly if you eliminate everything else. So be careful about parallel undamped surfaces. This is more like the principles from an architectural perspective when you're designing premises. This is the principles are also valid for a listening room if you're talking like hi-fi music listening, where you got a really good loudspeakers and a good equipment. But then you should think about more about symmetry, because if you put loudspeakers in a room like this and you have one speaker here and you got the other one here and the listening position here, then you're gonna get quite a different sound field, because here you will have a reflection and here you won't. That's one is cancelled out. So that's a different story. But for architecture, this is the rule of thumb that you should consider. If you get these two and you get the ceiling, there's a high probability that you're going to end up with a pleasant sound quality in your room. And in today's video, I'm wearing an all gray outfit with some gray pants and a gray shirt and a gray jacket. So there's different shades of gray everywhere. And then I pair it with some orange and green, which I think makes for a really nice combination with the gray. See you later.